Hello, and thank you for watching this demonstration video. This video will show you common uses of the Lastrada binder testing module, as well as other portions of the Lastrada software that are commonly used by binder laboratories. All right, what you're looking at are two versions of Lastrada running simultaneously. In this upper window, this is my account, which would be a typical administrator account where all the features of the software are turned on and available. And down below, I've created a second account for this demonstration for a gentleman by the name of Harold Hunt, and Harold is a binder technician. Harold will create certificates of compliance, generate tests, and manage recipes within Lastrada. So just want you to notice that there are a dozen buttons or so up here that I've set for myself when I use Lastrada. And in Harold's account, I went ahead and just reduced his work down to 4 buttons. And when you look at the number of options that are available to me in this upper account, there's quite a few. And down below with Harold, we're down to just the items that he would be doing on a regular basis. This configuration is something that we always do. It's really important to make sure the software is simple and easy to use. And setting this up took no longer than 5 minutes. So this is an example of how Lastrada is used to make sure that the daily work of every individual is quick and simple. Okay, so let's go ahead and just focus on Harold Hunt's account. So Harold Hunt has his 4 items that he does every day. So he does QC tests. I'm assuming he manages recipes. And then I went ahead and just filled this lower area with his equipment register. So this would be the common work that Harold would do every day. He might query in his recipes that are active at that plant that day, and this is where he would go to start adding QC samples as he's going along. So let's go ahead and look at the first thing that most users of Lastrada do is they use our equipment inventory system to manage their equipment. For simplicity in this system, I went ahead and I've created just one piece of equipment in this register. Now, Lastrada, we actually look at equipment in 2 respects. We look at it in terms of maintenance cycles and calibration cycles, or we can just look at things as a simple inventory. So I've got one large oven in my system. So when we go ahead and we look at the large oven, you can see this is the information we store. With that large oven, we've got all the equipment information you would need for your R18 program, as well as we've went ahead and we've added the calibration procedure for the oven to this piece of equipment. We've also added the last test result here. We've added the last test result here. Oh, it's popped up on my other screen where I've got the results here. And then I might have equipment, manuals, and other information that go along with it. So the equipment inventory is, again, one of the most commonly used and frequently used pieces of functionality used by Lastrada customers. Okay, the first thing we do in Lastrada when we're testing binders, we need to build specifications. So I'm going to go here to master data, I'm going to go to asphalt binder, and I'm going to go to asphalt binder specifications. When I hit the binoculars, I see the list of specifications that we've built, and I'll just open the PG64-10 as an example. So you can see we have the common properties that go with the 64-10 PG graded. I've assigned this to the M320 specification. I also have the availability to use the M332 specification as well as emulsified asphalt and cationic emulsified asphalt as well. So once we've built our specification, the next thing we're going to do is we can go ahead and build what we call a declaration. A declaration in Lastrada is a term that we use to bring together a specification and information about the plant. So if I go here to Asphalt Binder and look at binder declarations and go ahead and search to see what we have, let's just open this 64-16. This is where I'm going to go ahead and store information that I keep for this particular tank of binder, this T2, and this specification. I have all sorts of options. I can create declarations every time I run a recipe, or I can just create one declaration for each tank, or each supply, and then use the date range to find the data that I'm looking for. In any case, the declaration stores the declared quality values from which reports can be run and COCs be issued. The next thing that Harold might do is manage recipes or develop recipes for the terminal or the refinery he's working in. So on this screen here, I've got the recipes that we have added to my system. So I'm going to double click on this one. You can see the percentages of this one. I'm going to go ahead and let's run a report. So he's developed this recipe and he's going to go ahead and give it to the person running the blending rack. So I'm going to run a report called inline recipe. And when I run that report, it takes the data from the other page and goes ahead and creates a document that he can then give to the person setting the inline blending unit. Let's look at the Binder QC module. So I'm going to go ahead, I can either add a sample, or in my case, for the purposes of this demo, I'm just going to go ahead and pull up a sample. So I'm just going to go look at the big list of tests that I have in here, which is not much. I'm going to open this 70 minus 10, and you can see we store information about the binder itself. You can state which mixing plant that binder may be being delivered to, who's running the test, which tank it came from, and so on. And then when we get to the test data entry, you always have two options. I can simply put in here the solubility, the DSR unaged. I can go ahead and put this number in there, or I can hit this pencil and actually put the test results themselves in here and have Lastrada calculate the G-star sign delta. When I'm looking at entering data for unaged tests and actually all of the tests, I have two options. I can go ahead and put the DSR at 70 minus 10, or I can give it multiple tests where G-star sign delta may be above or below 1.0, and then have Lastrada tell me what is the temperature at which G-star sign delta, in this case, equals 1.0. And then when you're done entering data, in Lastrada, we always run reports using the same button. So I'm going to use this example report here and report out the results on this form. Now, this report format is completely up to you. This is an example. We were given a COC from a supplier and we went ahead and built one. And the way our reporting system works is you are in control of the layout. So if I look at where this density of 1.02 is coming from, if I right click and I click cell type, this is telling me the field from the database that I've asked to be put in there. So I can put in the final gravity, I can put in any of the measurements, I can do some of the individual measurements that go along with it if I want to generate a data sheet, but I have a long list of items to choose from so that I can make exactly the layout that I want. So I've got information about the gravity, the solubility, you name it, and it should support most any COC that you may want to create. And this is a service that we do for our customers, as well as if you want to go ahead and take a report and modify it to make it your own, you're welcome to do that as well. So let's go ahead and close out of here. We'll look at the last item on our demonstration. Okay, so the last item we're going to look at is statistics. So in the QC module, when I hit this binoculars, I'm able to see all of the individual tests. But if I were to pick this test, and this test, and then I open it, you'll notice this little green arrow comes available. So now I'm looking at each test one at a time. So now I'm looking at the individual results for each of these samples. In statistics, that's the module we use to report on multiple things simultaneously. So if I use the same binoculars and I grab the same 3 tests, now that information when I hit this edit document is going to appear, in this case on a COC, and it's going to generate 3 binder COCs for me. And that's all we have for the demo. So if you have any other questions, feel free to contact us. We'd be happy to answer them. Other than that, thank you for your time, and we look forward to speaking further.